All right. Thank you, everyone. Good evening and welcome once again to our monthly interactive session. My name is Lara Yeku, the founder of HR Gems Coaches Community. HR Gems simply means Great Excellent Minds. HR Gems, Great Excellent Minds Coaches Network. What are we about? You might want to know. We are a community of HR professionals who are focused on learning transformative skills, tools, and methodology together to enable us become change agents. We are HR professionals who are very deliberate and intentional with our lives. We understand that beyond just us being professionals, there's an opportunity for us to make an impact to our world. So we are that community of people who are really deliberate to making a change, and of course, to be intentional with the way we live our lives. Our core values include collaborate. We collaborate a lot. We are very supportive of one another. Then we show and demonstrate love always at all times. No competition among us. What we do is to demonstrate genuine love to one another. Our third core value is impact. Impact is at the core of what we do on a daily basis. How do we bring impact to our world? Through our profession, through our expertise, through our knowledge, through our skills. And that is also why we focus largely on coaching, NLP, and methodologies that empower us to make a change and bring impact to our world. And the fourth core value for us is purpose. We are purposeful with everything that we do. Today is another session where what we do is to have an interactive session and have subject matter experts speak to us on certain areas that would help us impact or change ourselves first, because change starts within first. We understand the place of we understand the place of being true to ourselves and being genuine to ourselves so that we can give. People cannot give what they do not have. For us to be transformative HR is not just, oh, we want to be transformative HR, but first we understand the need for us from a place of authenticity to be true to ourselves, to review, reflect, and see what we need to change within ourselves first so that we bring transformation to our world. That's what we are all about at HR Gems. It's a safe learning platform where we challenge ourselves, we learn together, we hold one another's hand. Today is another interactive session. It's a monthly session. And this month of June, we have a special series called Understanding, Maximizing your Greatest Asset, which is your self-awareness. We have a special guest speaker in our midst today. It's going to be a twofold session. We'll have the first session today, and then we'll conclude next Saturday as well. I'm hoping that today's session will be very transformative. I'll read out quickly the profile of our special guest speaker in the house. He is my mentor coach, Dr. Osaz. Dr. Osaz is a medical doctor and a neuropsychologist turned behavioral and cultural change coach and consultant. He is a high performance trainer and speaker, mental health counselor, therapist with professional experience spanning over 15 years. And you would agree with me that when we talk about the issue of mental health, it should be at the forefront now, given the whole issues that the entire world is facing today. And we have someone in the house who is very experienced in that area. He has the background training in clinical medicine, lifestyle medicine, human behavioral psychology, neuroscience, organizational psychology, life coaching, integrative health coaching, neuro-linguistic programming, cognitive behavioral therapy, rational emotive therapy, emotional freedom therapy, emotional intelligence practice, mindfulness skills, metrics reimprinting technique, change management, project management, and human sigma performance management. And I think recently I was just thinking about the need for us HR professionals to begin to understand more on human psychology, because I think the practice sort of teaches us more around concepts, the resources part, concepts, how to deliver HR management practices. But with regards to the human elements, we really don't have a lot of subject matter experts in that area. That also helps us bring that balance to us as HR professionals. I'm really happy that Dr. Osaz is someone who is really passionate about making us HR professionals to understand the psychology of humans, not just the concept of human practice, but understanding what makes humans think, behave the way they behave. I'll just quickly wrap up on his profile and invite him shortly. His former emergency room, I beg your pardon. This former emergency room physician with the Nigeria Air Force Hospital is presently the CEO of Winbox Consulting based in Lekki, Lagos, and he is the president of Behavioral Change Academy. I mean, I've been part of that academy a couple of times, and I always want to go back and take the sessions because they renew your mind every time you attend that session. Dr. Osaz represents a couple of international organizations, including Employee Assistance Program Services, EAP, for his 32nd retained multinational companies in Nigeria. He's a certified coach trainer, and he's coached and trained a lot of executives in several multinational, like Unilever, PwC, Flour Mills of Nigeria, InterSwitch, ExxonMobil, across several industries. Ladies and gentlemen, it is such an honor to have him join us this evening. I mean, getting him alone to just take some time today, we had to go do a bit of back and forth, but we are happy and we are glad to have him here. On that note, Dr. Osaz, thank you so much for making our time today, and over to you, boss. Thank you.
Thank you, HRJ Mama.
Which one is that one again?
I think you have produced more mamas now, so we should say HRJ Grandma. God bless you. Thank you for making my head to swell. And good evening, everyone. Is it evening or afternoon? Also, there's some people in the waiting room.
I'm admitting them right away.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and happy Democracy Day, all Nigerians, regardless of what we're the things that I've been preaching in the last since I broadcast a video lady that sang at the musical challenges. You don't okay before you be. So Nigerians, don't wait till everything is okay. Security before we make happiness is a personal responsibility more than responsibility. All right, on that note, this learning will be quite interactive. I'm dealing with bigger than even the 3 hours that we broke in. But we are going to try as much as possible to maximize. And I want to believe some people joined and welcome also. Welcome you. And okay, good evening. Thank you, Mary Eshet. Right. So we're going to make it a interactive and experiential session. And the reality is this: self-awareness is, there's rarely any person that we tell you they've not heard about self. One of the most praised, one of the least and practiced acts. It's one of the least embraced and practiced acts, but very common. If you have to take care of everyone here, you definitely have heard about self-awareness. But if you have to do a real self-audit, awareness, I've done that. I usually do self-audit, and a lot of people, sometimes more than 70 to 80% of people get shocked. It's like a eureka moment when they see them, because we all have blind spots. By the way, sharing my slide now. while I share my slide, ask you this. So let me quickly say. So they ask stops someone from making mistakes, and man replied. The background. So they asked the man if actually a professor of psychology. They asked him if self-awareness stops. So talking about self-awareness as a great asset, personal development. In fact, there's no self-development without self-awareness. Self-awareness is the first step in any self. So they ask him, does self from making mistakes? This is this professor. I guess he was tired of a lot of and the discussion actually ensued. Was trying to tell the CEO he needs to take us through self-awareness training. And CEO asked the professor, awareness stop people from making mistakes. And this professor looked at the CEO, replied in with this. He said, awareness doesn't stop you from making mistakes, but it allows you to learn from your mistakes. And I want to believe, referring to the CEO now, your problem in your organization the barest minimum, not because you stop making mistakes, but your workforce learn from their mistakes. I want to believe we all agree to this, and that's the idea. And by the way, what is self-awareness? While my slide is trying to open, just a minute. Give me a minute, please. Let me get it up. All right, I think it's coming on. If my audio quality is bam, that slang. If it let me loud and clear, please indicate in the comment section, in the comment box with a yes. Is my audio quality good enough? Why my slide is showing? No, Damilola, breaking. Okay. Suleiman said no. Jawura says no. What is happening? About it, Wi-Fi. Oluwaseun says it's no. Christina said no. Oh boy. So I need to know what is happening. So it means it's from my side. If everybody is saying no, it's breaking. All right, guys, let me quickly check it. Because I'm using a fiber optic Wi-Fi. I'm surprised that it's happening. Okay, Joy said I can hear you. Isaac says it's breaking.
I think it's a bit better now, Doc.
Okay, KG said I can hear you also. So I guess it's because I was sharing this slide. And so let's see. My network, I'm not sure it's my network. Or I think something is wrong.
Better. It's better now. Initially you were breaking, but I think it's better.
Okay, all right. All right, hopefully it doesn't continue. It's okay now. All right, thank you. Because that's why about it Wi-Fi is misbehaving with just Zoom. All right, so if you can see my also just Lara, can you see my slide?
Yes. Yes, okay, I can.
Good. We're good to go. All right, thank you. So maximize your greatest asset. Maximize your greatest asset, and your greatest asset is actually yourself. I'm sure when some of you saw the top, wondering how can every greatest asset, and you were trying to say, so especially those of you that are highly analytical. What do you mean by self-awareness? Greatest asset. Thank you for the feedback. A lot of people are saying yes now that they can hear me clearly. All right. Why greatest asset? You're going to see very soon. So self-awareness is essentially your values. Lara, can you mute everybody, please? Thank you. Self-awareness means knowing knowing your values, personality, needs, emotions, strengths, and weaknesses. Even as you face the opposites, you got to know the beliefs that you're running on, your needs, your habits, your emotions, strengths, and your, because the gaps in the knowledge will serve as barriers, obstacles in any of your. So there's a sound in the. All right, thank you. It's gone now. I will repeat what I said last. I said knowledge of your value, your personality, your emotions, your strength, your weaknesses, barriers, obstacles in any pursuit. It could be personal. It will serve. We're going to see that today, and I'm very glad that in personality profile, personality assessment. If you have not done yours, can you just indicate with no? Just indicate quickly in the comment section if you have not taken the personality or assessment. Just indicate with a no. I have a solution for you. By the way, I see a lot. So thank you. I may not be able to mention names because you guys are great. I need to acknowledge you guys. Time has gone so. And let me also apologize a bit late. I think I came in I received an emergency call from client companies, IAP company staff that attempted suicide. So I just had to quickly put some process in place for the person to be attended to. So some people have done it. Okay, so don't worry, we're going to do what we personality profiling. Then those of you that have done it, you have your personality type, you are going to do personality profiling also. To see if they tally, if they all right. Before, if you have not done it before, get it done under 2-3 minutes. You'll be able to get a perfect personality. All right. Okay. But before we get to that, let me quickly explain something so that I've built a foundation with what it's all about, and I've put a caveat out, ladies and gentlemen. Self-awareness is not going to stop you from making mistakes. You are a perfectionist. You are not here to learn making mistakes. In fact, mistakes and failures, assets to people that know abuse is inevitable when the use is unknown. So self-awareness will help you to learn mistakes so that you don't repeat the same mistake. All right? And that's why you are here. Then what is self-awareness? For those that are just joining, it's all about knowing some beliefs driving your life, knowing your emotions, the habits, the decision-making styles, your strength, and that are driving you in your pursuits or personal pursuits. And in this knowledge, we see the barrier or the obstacle you are after. Any so the less the gap in this knowledge, the better of achieving whatever going for, because the barrier on the journey in the it will be. All right. The personal finance, the goal you have, it could be your relationship, it could be your leadership, it could be your parenting, it could be your health and personal and mental health, and it could be yourself, wherever possible. The gaps in this knowledge, and the more your chance of achieving. And where is personality? Exactly is personality. A lot of us think that what personality is it the same thing as behavior? What exactly is it? So the word personality actually takes its root word from a Latin word called personality takes its root word from the Latin word called persona. Now, for those of you that grew up in church, like we used to act in those days, what we call stage drama. Remember those days, for those of you that grew up in church, who, if you grew up in a community where they usually do, in Europe, they call it a real retage. Those of you that can relate with me, you can call it drama. When someone is sometimes, aside trying to look the reason why they put some uniform and some and their hats and everything is to that people will not start seeing him in the society and the devil be that. So they put on some mask. They put on some mask to disguise. So the person that acted the devil. That mask, that theater that they use in concealing the actor and to project it or a new behavior is what is called persona. What personality came from. What does that imply? Personality essentially means characteristic of thought, emotions, and behavior of a unique person. Let me repeat. Characteristic, patterns, emotions, and behavior to a unique person. I deleted you a slide now, but I deleted a slide because of time. Call it the behavioral tree. I will have drawn you, but for time, I don't want to dwell so much on it. But just follow with me. Explain this Venn diagram that you're seeing on the screen. Now, behavioral tree. Come in life, desired result is by a behavior. On an individual level, there's a behavior that will drive that result you have. It's garbage. If you garbage in that particular behavior result, you will garbage out that. We garbage in the wrong, going to garbage out the wrong results. At the corporate level or group level, behavior is called culture. Desired outcome or result at organization also driven by culture. That's why Peter Drucker, the great management guru, said, always eat up strategy as breakfast. Culture, we always eat up strategy as breakfast and lunch. Great strategies, you need to get your strategy to be useless if your culture is antithetical to that strategy. And culture, especially the collective behavior of people. Now, back to every outcome or result in life is driven by behavior. So see the outcome as the top of the tree, the fruits of the tree. So see an image of a tree in front of you. The tree is the outcome or the result. Now, the outcome is driven by a behavior. Behaviors are driven by emotions are driven by thoughts. If I were to put it straight away, I would say, let me describe it now. Thought, an arrow in front of thought, leads to emotions. Emotion in front of it leads to behavior. Behavior with an arrow in front of it leads to outcome or result. Now, before thoughts is what we call your beliefs and value system. So your beliefs and value system drive your thinking pattern, your thought, drive your emotions drive your behavior, drive your result. Back to the definition of personality, the characteristic thoughts, emotions, and behavior that make. So, cumulative combination of your thoughts, emotions, and behavior in your personal finance, in your romantic relationship, parenting, in your management style, in your leadership style, in your management style, in your social life, determine your result in life. Now, there's a particular pattern to the way we think, we feel, and we behave. Two factors: genetic inheritance and programming. There is a characteristic pattern to which we think, feel, and behave. So if you check your life, the way you relate with money, if you get a psychologist to profile or track your thoughts, your feelings, and your behavior about money, they can tell you specifically and show you the trend, how you have been relating with money and how you are where you are in your personal finance. This relationship, the same thing with parenting, the same thing with selling, the same thing with leadership. And this is because when you have repeatedly done something, your brain establishes a neurological pathway for it. Then you think again, your brain keeps reinforcing the pattern till it becomes a habit. Whether it's what, it becomes a habit, essentially meaning that it becomes a way of thinking, way of feeling, and way of behaving. Now, this is attributable to two factors: genetic inheritance, your programming, your nurturing from your environment, from your education, from your experience and exposure. We call them the 4 E's of life. I'm building a foundation piece. For today, we're going to build the foundation and look at your result, personality type. Then look at your strengths and weaknesses. For the next session, we're going to look at how they affect our stress level, how we react under stress. We perhaps parent or lead or manage. And even if time permits us, next session, we look at romantic relationship, the cause of conflict. Oftentimes, the cause of conflict or the major causes of conflict in relationship attributable to personality clashes. And that's why I'm of the opinion that understanding is superior to compatibility in relationship. Understanding is superior to compatibility in relationship. Hopefully, next session, if time permits. But let's come back to the foundation we're building, because I don't believe in just be able to have a solid foundation to understand it. I'm doing this is because you guys are leaders, you guys are HR practitioners, you guys, it's just to the general public, we just shoot. In fact, we start with a game. I always like, well, I'm not giving you guys leaders, I'm giving you the meat so that you can chew by yourself. So foundation. So back to where personality came from. This is your characteristic pattern of how you feel and how you behave for it in your life is traceable to your inheritance and your programming. So you can call it and nurture. Nature, what you inherited genetically, nurture how you are programmed from your environment that you grew up in, your education, your experience and exposure. Is this because some people will now start saying or insinuating, are you saying that so if I inherited for behaving anyhow, let's say I verbally or tongue lash people, then it's not my fault then. It's not my fault, don't blame me. Okay, listen to this before you conclude on the contribution of nature to personality is just 30%. Science and medical science and psychology is just at max 30%. Nurturing from environment, education, exposure is about minimum of 70%. So I say, if in our family, Loriro, this is how I know how to treat a woman, Loriro. Your parent programmed you that way because that man, once you cross 21, in some countries, once you cross 18, you are an adult. You take responsibility for successes and failures in your life with your full chest, or else you not move forward in life. And I've heard people in our family, we easily get angry Anybody can be aggressive with money. Now money will. So if your hunger is without control, blaming it on your parental inheritance. Lori Rock, 70% of it is contributed by your programming, and programming is learned, and that's why I've been tougher. Lots of us over time said that the literate of the 21st century is not the man your rights, it's the man that cannot learn on. And building a foundation for this, looking at our result, our personality type, we can understand what we're saying. You might get defensive, but with this foundation, I believe your defensive wall will collapse. There. Because it's easy to get defensive when you start looking at your weaknesses, especially those of us that I hope there is nobody like that in this garden. You guys are learned colleagues, not as a lawyer now. All right, I haven't established. Let's come on your screen right away. If you look at your screen, you will see 3 personality IQ and here. You know what IQ is all about? IQ essentially is all about academic intelligence, or you can call mental intelligence. All right? Then you can see personality there, you can see emotional intelligence. They all build to how you feel and how you behave. The characteristic pattern, particular usual way you think, you feel, and that makes you unique. Characteristic pattern of thinking, feeling, and behaving has a level of influence of IQ, but also from your emotional intelligence. But see where to me, please don't get distracted. Stay. Look at the description for IQ. Sometimes people challenge this, but I will explain why. So a lot of people, when I say to them, your IQ essentially stays and it's difficult to change. Say, Dr. Osaz, what are you saying? I can strengthen things. And I say, I agree. I agree. Well, that's Christ that will strengthen you. But when it comes to you, focus on what you have control over. Christ refuses to strengthen you, strengthen your IQ or boost your IQ. So over what you don't have control over, you're setting yourself up for frustration. Your IQ across the ages of between 7 and 9 years fixed, except by malnutrition and some other factors. Malnutrition and those other factors are removed in then your IQ can return back to this particular level to be. But oftentimes between these ages of 7 and 9, because between 2 to 7 years formation is happening. Now look at personality is not fixed. It's a characteristic pattern. Contribution from your nature, that is what you inherited genetically and nurtured majorly. So it's not constant, it's not fixed. Change. Don't see what we mean by dominant today. Some of you already know this. Difficult to change. Personality is difficult. I would say that again. It's very difficult to change. Here, we are not trying to get you to change your personality. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to. Personality is very difficult. You are who you are. You went through experience that formed or contributed to your personality for a purpose. So if you grew up in a home with a lot of fear, at the age of 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, hear the car on like this, they are hoping that these all the children run upstairs to their room. If you grew up perpetually in that kind of house with so much, the area in your midbrain, the emotional brain that processes fear, will overtly enlarge in response to that. By implication is when you become adulthood, you'll be extra sensitive. You'll be very extra sensitive to fear, especially fear of authority figures in your life. If you grew up in a home, same way, if you grew up in a home Your father and mother really exchange love through giving and receiving love. It could be through gifts, it could be through affirmations, it could be through act of service, it could be through activities that they partake in together, or through hugging each other, or pecking each other, or saying those words to one another. Even to your children, your dad or your mom, or you really hear the word or buy gifts for you. You grew up in that kind of home. At the age grade when your emotional brain is mature, which is between 10 and 17 years. The area in the midbrain, the emotional brain, that is giving and receiving love will shrink. Wherever you don't use, you lose. The implication that when you grow up into adulthood, to understand or effortlessly know how to give and receive. The person, the spouse, or the boyfriend or the girlfriend will complain is not romantic. He has no capacity to be romantic except in himself. And he can't do that because the human being is neuroplastic. Neuro means brain, plastic means something that can be remolded. And that's one of the reasons why to change. But the third component of this Venn diagram, which is intelligence, of your capacity something you can fill up. It's all about your capacity to build up the 4 competencies of emotion, which is all about balancing your reasoning, the emotional part of you, and your in making decisions, communicating with yourself and with acting towards yourself and others in successful relationship with yourself and with others. Growing it, you can keep practicing and growing. No cap, no ceiling. And if you keep growing it, of your personality and your IQ will be taken. That's why it's a Venn diagram. That's why they overlap. That's why. So I've heard that IQ will take you through school, possibly get you jobs. But what will sustain you or get you to the top or keep you at the top is your emotional intelligence. Some of us will pick up some that dynamical and antithetical to leadership. Yes, it's possible by your background programming. It's not the type easily influence people. We're going to see such person. And it may be your dominant person. That should not mean you should be a personality type. Once you build your emotional intelligence, it will cover your personality. Note, I will quickly move away from so that we go straight to this personality. You said you have not taken this personality type. So I will introduce you to a lesser personality type that I use roughly to, if I am short of time, I just use the personality type of someone. And if you have done it, look at your personality type and go through this lesser also to be sure they still match. Most likely they should still match, especially personality. We have secondary personality type. Some people even have type, but the dominant one not change. So personality type based on the essentially all about 4 components. This characteristic pattern of how you think and you behave, and that makes. So we have what we call otherwise known as your energy. Since your energy, environmental interaction is on your screen there. Essentially into extrovert and introvert. All right, we're going to see what that is all about now. Second component, which is mental, environmental energy, and mental energy, which is all about essentially, it's all about your cognitive style. It's all about your cognitive style. All right, divided majorly into 2 types also. People are more of sensors than intuitive. Some people are more of sensors. We are all a mix of the 2 components. You are a mix of both extrovert and introvert, but you are more of one. So you will find yourself in the features of introvert, but you are more of one. The same thing for the second component. We're a mix of both sensors and intuitive, but you are more represented by capital S, intuitive represented by capital N. Component is what we call decision making, which is all about your values drive your decisions. Some people are more of thinkers, some are more of feelers, but we're a mix of the two, but we are more of one. Thinker, capital F for feelers. Then it's about tactical approach to life, which is essentially what some people are more of judges than perceivers, some are more of perceivers than judges, but we are all a mix of the two. Let's see these features. If you have not done this, you have not done your personality type. So look at this. The first component, quickly read through it. For extroverts, look at the features. Introverts, read through the features of introverts. Then ask yourself, which one are you more of? You will see yourself in the two. So don't confuse it. You will see yourself, which one are you more of? You have 20 seconds to quickly do this. You see yourself in the two, but which? Now, don't try to answer this based on who you or who you have loved to be. One of the biggest mistakes in life is to not accept who you are. If you don't first accept yourself, you cannot change yourself. If you are told you want to change yourself. Matter of fact, I always jokingly say there is only a doesn't accept himself. But that would be a discredit serial killer that will not accept it. So become serial killers to accept. So don't answer based on who you think you should be, who you will love to be, based on who you have known yourself to be. Yes. All right, I think I should move on. If you're done with this, right. So the second category, intuitive and sensor. So for the first, just put, if you are more of extrovert, just write down introvert, write down capital I. Then for the second category, the mental energy, intuitive and sensor. If you are more of intuitive, write down capital N. You are capital S. Sensor is the same thing as observer, but use S. All right. Features for intuitive, read through these features for sensor. Mental energy is essentially about how you see the world, information. The first component of somebody's voice background. Thank you. So environmental interaction is about how you interact with the environment to pick information from it. Some are more of extrovert, some are more of introvert. This is about how you see the world, process the information you pick from it. So we need to move on. 20 seconds is up. Right to the features, you should be able to choose which. Let's move to the third one. The third one is this information you have processed. How you, based on the information you have processed, the emotions that come with the challenges of. So this is essentially driven by either more of a thinker or a feeler. You are a mixed one. Look at the features for thinker, features for feeler. You are more of thinker, write down capital T. You are more of a feeler. 20 seconds, quickly. Sorry, I'm rushing. We started a bit late, minutes into the time already, so we need to catch up. At least sort out the aspect of today. Then the application, maybe in the next session. Application, finance in our stress level, stress management side, in our parenting, in our romantic relationship, or done, I believe. Let's move to the next slide. Tactical approach, which is the last component, the first, all about how reflect on your approach. You have processed the information, you have on the information you process, and you're approaching life. Now you are reflecting on the approach and planning also, and making new decisions. You are either more of a judger or more of a person. If you are more of a judge through the features of the two, right? Of a perceiver, write down capital P. bothering myself with reading out the features because I don't we understand that those they are learner, they are literate friendly, they are simple to understand. Okay, so let's move on. So I don't believe everybody has their personality type now. If you don't have your personality type yet, again, I'm asking in the comment section, say no. Just type no in the comment section now. So this is just the summary of what we have done so far. The summary, what you're seeing on your screen is the summary of what we have done. I don't believe everybody has his own or her own. And if you want a detailed one, on the link that was provided in the HR Gens WhatsApp group, the 16 personalities, is that's what I also use. Sometimes if I have the time, or if I don't have the time, with this later, just straightforward one. So let's move. So the essence of the review is self-awareness. And how do you should be able to know based on the letters you have in front of you, your NTJ, ENFP, it should go beyond the letters to tell you how you focus in life, how you focus at your job, your career, how you focus in anything you're doing, relationship, how you decide and how you drive, how you're motivated. So when you see someone looking at the personality type, it should be telling you motivated. And if you're motivating yourself in a particular way, work for a particular personality type for you. You're going to see that very soon. You must understand the motivation that, and as a team lead, you're working with or you're a business owner, cannot afford to try to motivate members the same way or they work. They don't have the same personality type. We're going to see that there's a way you will understand that now. The energy drive each person is different and you got to energy. So one of the things you're doing today, personality sort. I call it the personality sorter. That at the end of today, you have realized your focus or decide or drive or get motivated or execute or take actions. You have realized your weaknesses and the opportunities inherent, and you're beginning to gain on the threats possible through your weaknesses that you don't. And ultimately, you should be able to now realize that you must concentrate on recognize your weaknesses and collaborate on them. Collaborate with people that have strength that will cover your weaknesses or you can work on your weaknesses. You must be able to evaluate and match opportunities that life presents to you as a result of your, and you must be able to receive and anticipate your threats. It helps you also do what we call personality dashboard during our training or during the managerial coach. Managers take our time to do that one, but we just rush through this. We skip this, and I will skip this one, come back to it, and go to what I call the personality type. So I don't believe every personality type. So this is what I will do because of time. I think we have over 30 or 40 people in this room, in this class. I want the 10 people, please, I'm pleading, and let's be fast about to just type in the comment section. Type. Just type in the letters ENTJ, ENFP, INTJ, INTP, ESTP, EST. Type it in. We are 61. Oh, wonderful.
63 now.
63. Thank you. All right. I just want to take the first 10 people. It's only the first 10 people I want to work with. So type it in. So we just be working loud. The first 10 people. Just write out their type. So
Okay.
for me, I can see your eyes, see your ESFJ. For the fifth one, we will not deal with that now. So I can see yours, Uju, I can see yours, KG, I can see Attractor, I can see yours. I can see yours, Olusegun, I can see yours. I think we have Suleiman, I see yours. Adekunle, I see yours also. So, okay. So I'm going to horizontal now so that it can be bolder for you guys. Okay. All right. In front of you. Also NFP.
Though it's quite blurry. You might have to read it out.
I tried to compress it into this. I don't have it to be moving slide because of. Don't worry, I will read it out. All right. The first thing I want you to know categories: the analysts, the explorers, and the second thing I want you to note is the fact that all in different colors. So these 4 categories are in 4 major colors. Analysts in red color, they have red energy. We'll see the meaning of that very soon. Deep color, they have green energy. As in yellow color, they have yellow energy. In blue color, they have blue energy. I know some people by our socio-cultural upbringing, hey, red, what does that? Leave that. This is not the time to have cultural programming to be affecting your progress. Who about red here? As a failure in academic, but at the same time, it's the psychology of red, if you know the psychology of red. So, second thing, note the color. Now, the I need you to note is the fact that for each category, there are making of 16 personality types. Yeah, and MBTI has done this research over. MBTI is a product of research over the years and they did this research over the years, tried it and experimented, and is proven repeatedly as real, relatable, close to error. Right? Now, what it means is that every human being dominantly to one personality types. So what you are type in the comment section is your dominant personality type. It doesn't mean you don't have a personality type, and it doesn't mean you don't have a personality type. The fourth thing I need, by the time you see your strengths and weaknesses, I prefer to call weaknesses shortcomings, but that's what is on the screen, all right? The fact that you have the dominant personality does not mean you are condemned to that personality. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, because you guys are the ultimate goal for every leader. And when I can be a leader as a parent, leader of a team, of a business, in a society, in a group, peers, among your siblings, all right? For every leader, they go condemn to that dominant personality type. Awareness is to open your eyes to your blind as a result of your programming, the strength you have as a result of your program. However, the ultimate goal is for to be able to become a personality type required of you based on the dynamic situation. Let me paint a way. Christians, Paul will say to the Romans, like Romans, to sell to a particular personality If you don't wage of that personality type, let's say the personality type is ENTP, and because FJ, and your home language, you are not going to be able to connect to the purchasing or decision mode of that person. You speak his language, and for you to speak his language, you must be able to feel and behave like his personality type. People buy people. Speaking Yoruba to a Chinese, and you cannot be speaking Indian to an Igbo man. If you want him to connect with you, embrace what you're offering, Igbo to an Igbo. Just so you want to be able to influence your team members of your child. You want to get the best out of your. One of the things with personality type ultimate goal is actually flexibility. That's all I'm talking about. Since all this we're talking about, flexibility is key. As a matter of fact, is the draw for influence. The one leadership is influence, and the nucleus of influence is. That's why in neuro-linguistic programming, that in any group of people, the real leader in there is most likely the leader among them. The highest level of influence on them, and the among them is most likely the most flexible that can relate to A from the perspective, that can interact with B from the perspective, that can feel like C and communicate based on how he feels. Don't master your personality. If you are condemned to a particular personality, will be low, ladies and gentlemen. And without empathy, you can't be a great leader, influencer of behavior, of result. So I'm building these 4 notes. That's what we are saying when we are entering. Lara, the first person, the name of the first person and the person's person.
Hi, Doc.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So the first person who dropped his or her personality is Aize Adua, INTP.
Adua, thank you. So Adua, introverted, intuitive, and a perceiver. INTP, you belong to the blue area that's called the sentinels. Sentinels. Don't worry if you can't see, I will read it out. So don't worry, you can't see, and this to you will be sent to, or possibly put in the WhatsApp group or a group. So you will see it better in the slide. I have to compress first because I don't want to be moving slides up and down. All right. So INTP, you to the sentinel, the blue energy. It's all about, but let's focus on the strength and weakness. So for your strengths, for your personality, for INTP, you people are, and your strength, you are analytical, you are imaginative, you are open-minded, you are objective, and you are straightforward. I'll repeat that. An abstract. You can think in abstract terms. Highly imaginative and original. You are yes generation. You are open-minded, easy for you to a large extent to be flexible. You are enthusiastic and you are straightforward. However, despite this, it's just like any other personality type. And I've told you, the sense of knowing your weakness is all about the essence of knowing and what the ultimate goal of knowing your personality type. So for your weaknesses, you are drawn and easily become insensitive, easily become absent-minded. You are actually deadness. You can bend without knowing, and the around you are not bold enough to give you this feedback. They will just be spreading the rumor. They will just be that boss, that madam, that oga is condescending. You have people around you that can give you honest feedback. Because oftentimes you will not realize your blind, see these weaknesses yourself. You rules and guidelines that like being restricted to rules and regulations. And you second guess yourself. And that's why oftentimes the strength, being analytical, and this weakness of yourself a lot can make you become prone to paralysis. You can write down good idea generator, but if you don't with this behavioral pattern of your programming, which make you second guess a lot, trend that is analytical can become a weakness, such that you analyze on a particular business idea, and you discover that 6 months, 1 year, don't know anything about it because this one is not complete. This one is not. Lots of time we move on. The second person. Oh, let me hear from you. Aize, let me hear from you. Can you unmute? Does this relate to you?
Adua, let's hear from you, please.
Oh, she responded. Said, that's so me. Thank you, Aize, for responding quickly.
Yes, you're actually very right. With the house, a lot of the things you said are actually so me. Yes, but as per the weaknesses, like you said, we may not be able to tell. I don't think I'm condescending though, but I may not be able to tell too. But all the same, you are spot on. Thank you very much. Yes.
All right. Thank you for the. Now remember, your dominant personality is not the only personality type. This is 100% correct. Study that could put this together and at the same personality type that is in the. All right. So it may not be 100%, but be who you are if you answer the questions right. You are there to answer the questions for the assessment right. So the second person, Lara.
Thank you. Christina, INTJ.
Christina.
INTJ.
I have done, for those that are INTP, so personality type, I will ensure that one again, all right? So Christina, INTJ, you also do energy category. Don't worry, blue energy, you are going to get to know that. It's all about your motive. What drives you? You belong to the blue energy, also the cardinals, and your part is known as the architect. You architect, and by your strengths, you guys are imaginative. You and imaginative. You are also very, very. You guys are very like being independent. You are very, very hardworking, and you are also open-minded, but you are straight. It's a strength. It's actually on that strength here. Weaknesses. So for the weak, like every other personality type, for every strength, there is also easily be arrogant and getting the right feedback, or with a great sense of self-awareness. Are good judgmental, over. So you analyze yourself into paralysis. You highly structured environment. So people like you, there's no level of at least a ability in your workplace. Create that mental flexibility. Discover that you are resentful in the workplace. Unwanted emotions are building up in you, and if your workplace is highly structured, you also this other shortcoming with this whenever it comes to being careful with it, so that you will not take it for explain it. So in romance, you guys can clueless in romance. Personality type. You can easily be by clueless. Oftentimes, because you are very imaginative and you are open-minded, they are in romance, in relationship, you can be clueless how to adjust your expectation for other person in the relationship, adjust to their shortcomings, because you are imagining the outcome of this shortcoming of this your partner. If it continues like this, how it will communication, how you hamper your conflict resolution on your finance, family finance, that you're raising. So as a result of that, and you are beginning to overtly, repeatedly, you analyze paralysis such that you are not taking any action, become clueless in romantic relationship. All right, Christina, can you rest quickly, please? With you?
Yes, it's quite accurate for me, and yeah, I totally agree on the points.
All right.
Yes, on the strengths and weaknesses. Thank you.
All right. Purpose of doing this is not to make anybody less than any other person. We have of doing this, and I've told you the biggest power you have. It's not about trying to change. It's about upping your emotional intelligence. The diagram, why it is important. Okay, let's move to number 3.
So number 3 is Linda. She is ENFJ.
Sorry, repeat that.
Linda, ENFJ.
ENFJ. So ENFJ, you belong to the category we call the diplomats, the green energy, not the opposite. That's why I'm saying it, so that when you get there, you can explain it that one in the. So you belong to the green energy category. You guys, we call you diplomat, but you specific type, the ENFJ, we call you people the protagonist. What are your strengths? For your strengths, tolerant people. Tolerant people, your characteristic pattern of thinking, feeling makes you uniquely tolerant. Reliable, you're charismatic, you're altruistic also. Altruistic, loves serving, loves service, loves helping. You are natural leaders. As sweet as these strengths sound, so let's look at the weaknesses. Just like you are overly idealistic. You are too selfless. You wonder, how can you say too selfless? Being selfless is a weak. Anything that does not have moderation is a demon, including the good things. If it doesn't have the moderation, can kill. Not that can kill, it kills. You are too sensitive also. And you battle investing, except you start intelligence, or else you will battle fluctuating of your life. Struggle to make tough decisions. Why? Because of your tolerance. Because of your tolerance of people, you struggle to make. It could be a juncture in your life, or a point in your life that you need to cut off some friends. It's obvious that this is damaging some areas of your life. People that matter in your life have advised you. Struggle to make tough decisions. I say to people, emotional intelligence, especially there was a coaching community WhatsApp group. So they posted a video and people start commenting, this person is not emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence is not equal to being nice. When you need to be nice in the dynamic of a situation, you are not emotionally intelligent. When you hear anybody saying emotional intelligence, being nice, then the person does not understand psychology through the feeling and behavior in getting results. Get there. This is not an emotional intelligence class. So, Linda, respond, please. Do you relate to this?
Hi,
time is
Dr.
gone.
Osaz. As you were talking, I was smiling, very spot on. But I think what I've realized that in some aspects of my life, my personality sometimes would swing to the other part, to the other side. And I've also tried to manage my weakness by getting feedback from people, just to take myself out of the boxes
Fantastic.
of the weaknesses you've mentioned. So very, very spot on. Thank you very much.
Awesome. So you are helping your emotional intelligence back.
Absolutely.
Every leader cannot afford not to have feedback. And when you don't surround yourself with people that only give the cheerleaders. You need them for moments in your life, but you don't need the cheer. You need those ones that. But some of them we know how to turn negative feedback back. So in emotional intelligence, we do what we call, and it's in 2 dimensions: constructive feedback and receiving constructive. So everybody that is emotionally intelligent to give negative feedback as feedback, and there is a model for that. Not enough as a leader, don't know how to turn their negative feedback that they want to into constructive feedback, but must know how to receive negative feedback as a constructive. Giving it to you as a negative feedback, but you know how to constructive feedback, and there's the model. That's not our focus today. All right, step number 4, Lara.
Okay, so number 4,
10.
yes, is I got a private message from Olusegun, and his personality result is INFJ. Olusegun, INFJ.
INFJ. Thank you, Olusegun. So you green energy. I like the way we are taking 2. So the first 2 is the category of sentinels. So 2 now, category of the green energy, diplomat. Olusegun, note your energy, green energy, please. Today and then not today, the next session. INFJ, we call you people the advocates. You guys are creative. You are inspiring and convincing. You are decisive and determined. You are passionate. And you are also altruistic. That is, you like serving and giving and helping. So you are creative, you are insightful, you are convincing, you are determined, you are passionate, and you are altruistic. As this trend sound, the is also INFJ. They are quite sensitive. So these people must feed negative feedback as constructive feedback. They are quite sensitive to what think about them and the feedbacks people are giving them. They are extremely private. And one of this personality, they are perfectionistic. Perfectionistic, they want the perfect state of timing, perfect resources to get things done. They need to have a cause, a strong reason to get something done. Then they can burn out easily because their mental energy is high, but it's combined with their emotional energy. So mental energy is high, emotional energy is high, and they are decisive and determined. So the combination of these strengths can make them burn out easily if they don't have management strategy in place or emotional intelligence in terms of highly of what is driving them and if it's driving them into. I guess not a kind of people you will find out in their life stress-related diseases like and their lower back pain, lower stiffness or neck pain, high blood pressure or fluctuating blood pressure, and what have you, including if the person is married, it can affect that also. Do you relate or respond? Yeah, and if it's not here, you can move on.
Yes, I can relate with everything.
Okay, Abdul Salam is saying very true. I think that. Okay,
Yeah,
Olusegun, you say you can relate. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to say?
Even up to the stress management you spoke about, the back pain and all, I do experience them.
Yeah. So, thank you. Now.
Thank you. So the next is Bumi. Like I did mention, Olusegun had sent in his assessments to me privately. So the next is Bumi, and Bumi is ISTJ.
We are moving to another category. ISTJ. ISTJ belongs to the red energy. Don't connote that red means something bad, though, please. You will see what this means in the next session if you don't get it to. So you guys belong to the category of guys that we call analysts, the people with red energy. And remember, I said this energy is all about your drive. But we're going to see that later on. ISTJ, we call you people the logistician. By that, you have this. So you guys are honest and direct. You are honest and direct. You are strong, beautiful. You are strong-willed and on the word duty. Responsible. You are calm. You create and enforce order. Jack of all trades. It can push you to say, and you will still find your mojo. Right? However, as great as all these, they have their weaknesses, just like other personality types. You can be stubborn. Although the reason is quite clear. We love to create and enforce. You can do that while being so the feelings. I always of a manager that the CEO wants belongs to this ISTJ. She has the business. Maybe she joined the company, put order in place, processes in place of one or two vulnerables. So it's not everybody that easily adapts to it. It's more emotional than logical. Can listen, please, HR people, listen. With all the pen down processes and policies, when you are whatever kind of transition or change, you know that all those logical things you are putting in paper is the emotional response to it. It's not everybody that we handle. Some people already know what they are dealing with. So this manager created the structures and everything. And there's a lady that, no, I mean, she's down emotionally because she lived far away from work. She had been out early and she gets back late. And I think tired of it, and possibly the husband has his own issue or was dealing with them, or probably poor. One day he fought her money. Is there anything that makes you come bother to come home? And like clearly like joke actually. Then the husband locked her out. This is really locked her out. This lady's in the first floor bedroom apartment. The husband slept under the staircase overnight. It's only when the husband was getting to the house for work also by ramp that she was able to quickly shower and came to work. So because this lady doing her duty, she's wired, put order in place, but she was insensitive to the emotions of others. Be a balanced manager. And she gave 2 queries. And one day, boss came in, she saw her crying heavily. The manager was threatening a 3rd query. And 3rd query means layoff. She came late that particular day, and to make matters, came late for meeting. Then while in the meeting, absent-minded. Go down on your own responsibility. But she wasn't. She was physically present, but mentally absent. 3 minutes. She couldn't relate. She was gone. And the reason that when the CEO called out his office, the manager that all the way didn't know this secret of her life is called her to her office to have a heart-to-heart. The lady broke down in tears, and twice this lady has been admitted in the hospital due to beating by the husband. Twice. Several times she died just because she came back late from work. But the manager didn't know because she was hell-bent on enforcing order, but not managing the emotional side. You are introducing it, you are not considerate of the emotional response. So I took time to explain that personality type. Insensitivity is not a trait anyone can afford to have and be an effect, especially in the VUCA that we are in now, volatile, uncertain, and disrupted world that we are, that makes emotional sides of your workforce crucial to every human. All right, let's move on because of time. Always buy the book. They are bookwormers. They can be judgmental also. Then they are often unreasonably blame. If care is not taken, if the person or emotional intelligence game or open to doing self-auditing, they will discover that they blame themselves a lot and they blame others a lot. So they blame, but in the private, they blame themselves a lot. They make a little mistake, they keep blaming themselves and judging themselves and condemning themselves. And the combination of being judgmental, the reason is this: because they like order and they are stickler for order. They easily see when people move out of the structure, and they will start judging, start blaming the person. Now, even though nobody is saying they are not doing the right thing. That's why the order, enforcing order, is a strength. The human brain is this: the more you judge others, the more you blame others for some errors. Your brain, the human mind cannot differentiate between reality. The more you judge others, the more you blame others, the more you are programming your brain to go on the autopilot mode to blame yourself, because it becomes an autopilot mode. You repeatedly practice something, your brain is reinforcing that behavior until it becomes a habit. So even though it's others you are judging, when you are alone, you will find yourself blaming yourself a lot, condemning yourself, judging yourself for little mistake that others will move on from. And that's why you must be careful in the way you judge others. That's why it's put under weakness. In fact, that's why the scripture said, so that you should not be judged. Because you're programming what you are giving now, you start giving it to yourself. So, on that note, Bumi.
Thank you so much, Dr. Osaz. This is me, and I'm very stubborn indeed, and I am very judgmental, especially on myself. So this is me. However, when I did this personality test on the 16 Personalities website, I got the second one as my result. That's ISFJ. I did remember you mentioned that being on one grid doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be another personality. So what does this mean in real terms? So how can I interpret this?
When did you get STJ that we work with? When did you get it? When Lisa one just now, right?
Yes, just now, sir. Just now.
Okay, all right. The questions that are asked in the online test oftentimes can make you switch between dominant and secondary personality type. So most likely, possibly, if one of the two ISTJ or ISFJ and the other one is the secondary for you. All right.
Okay. Okay.
But I haven't said that. The goal is not to. The goal is to up your game so that you can become flexible. You need to become INFP when you are selling INFP at that moment. When you are a parent, when you need to become, your son is an ENFP, and that's can become an ENFP. That's the ultimate goal, and for you to be able to do intelligence. But your dominant personality type and possibly your secondary is the fact that you have blind spots not be seen. Some weaknesses may not be seen affecting you, and this just throws it open to you. And you begin to see yourself for who you really are. And trying to rationalize or analyze.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. God bless.
So
thank you.
Take one more thing. Yeah, thank you, Bumi. One more. Add anyone that is under the yellow energy category. Okay. Let's leave the red energy so that we
Yewande is ESFJ. I don't know what category that is.
No, let's move on.
ESFJ.
I won't be able to take that. Yewande, please. Possibly we will quickly 5 or 6 again in the next session. Okay. Time is up now.
So
one with ISTP, ESTP, ISF.
Yes, let me check quickly for anyone with
under the yellow energy, the explorer. ESTP or ESFP, SFP or ISTP. I will be sending this slide to the WhatsApp group, so don't see it's not clear enough here because I don't want to be changing slides. All right, so but this will be on the WhatsApp very well. Those of you that we have not dealt with. Cheesy is ISFJ. Still red energy.
Okay, that's still red. So we are looking for people under the yellow energy, right? The explorers. ISTP,
yes. Have you seen
ISFP. Now I'm still looking through ESTP or ESFP.
Eleanor says she's not on the WhatsApp. Please chat with Lara.
Yes, please chat with me if you're not on the WhatsApp group. Any ISTP in the house or ESTP?
Find any? So if you can't find any, let's go.
Let's take Yewande then. Yes. So Yewande is ESFJ.
Yewande is
ESFJ.
Yes, so be checking to see if we will find.
Yes, I'll continue to check.
ISFP or ESFP.
Okay.
Thank you. So Yewande, you also belong to the red energy category. People, your personality type of ESFJ, they console. Strengths to be you have skills, you have strong part, you have strong sense of duty. You are very loyal. You are sensitive and warm. You are good at connecting with others. You're good at connecting with others. Oh, all right. But as great sound, they come with weaknesses, just type. So for the weaknesses or what we call shortcomings, you get worried about your social status. You get worried easily about your. You can be inflexible, reluctant to improvise. If this is what is meant to be or used, you can eat and remain stuck on it for days. When there are things you can improvise, be aware of this. You can be vulnerable to criticism. You can be vulnerable to criticism. You are quite sensitive and become needy. So you are selfless, but at the same time, you are always need that care and attention from others. So you give You expect people to always give that back to you. Sometimes people that are not wired that will see you as needy, and you quickly worry about social status. For the ESFJ, because they are feelers and they're extroverted, with their external environment a lot, and their values are based on what they are picking in this environment. And the truth is, here one day, and anybody belonging to ESFJ, 70 to 80% of external environment are negative. Psychology has proven this times without number. Why we say 70 to 80% of general thoughts are negative. General thoughts, 70 to 80% are negative. But percent of information out there that are face are negative. Now, if you don't have mindfulness skills, you don't have emotional intelligence skills, resilience skills, being able to snap out of a moment. It's okay if your emotion is affected by the environment because of who you are, your personality, but you must be able to dwell in it for too long and snap out of it. Resilience skills. So, or else you find that your mood is a of your environment or your social status. Master how to practice mindfulness, how to be your emotional intelligence skill. Quickly respond while we take just one more category, yellow energy category.
Yewande, yes. Can we get your feedback, please?
Okay, on the we're very spot on. On some of them are correct. Say that without not sounding as if some of them are not. I didn't even hear a lot of it because the line wasn't too. I didn't hear one part, US, the last part properly, but one about I didn't even hear what. Really, to be honest, I didn't hear most of.
Wow.
Other part. I was going to either connect me with you or send how I get to hear.
Okay, so don't worry, Yewande, is your internet, because even what you're saying is breaking beats going on now. So
I'm wondering what's going on.
What we are going to do is this available, so you can this duration, this timing. So like 1 hour after we started, and just go straight to that portion. Then you have this slide also in the WhatsApp.
All right then, thank you.
So because of time,
much I really appreciate
for the response. All right, Lara, under the yellow energy category. So it's almost 7 o'clock.
Unfortunately, the people who had dropped the assessment,
none of them is in the yellow energy category.
None of them is in the yellow energy category.
If you have not dropped your results, your personality type, and you belong to the yellow energy, you belong to personality types under yellow energy, please note your color, the ISTP, the ESTP, the ISTP. And we will wrap it up with the what energy drive is all about, this energy category. What this energy category is all about is energy. So remember I said the energy means your drive, your motivation. Eileen said she belongs. All right, so just note it. Energy, what drives you, what fires up your rewards. And what do I mean by rewards? So sometimes leaders tend to try to motivate their team. Oftentimes parents try to motivate their foul. Well, everybody cannot be the same, excuse me. Everybody cannot be know who you're dealing with. So for yellow energy people, they are more driven or fired up. But what's the reward in this task, in this workplace, in this job, in this relationship? What's the reward? Once they can gain clarity of the reward, motivation will fire. Remember, motivation is intrinsic than extrinsic. Not intrinsic than extrinsic. Gain clarity of the reward, because the motivation value is reward to the personality groups, the person. So as a leader, you got to be able to show them, help them gain in that job, on that task, on a workplace, or in the relationship. People in this particular category. For those that are in category, the 4 personality types in the category, and let me just mention the yellow energy, the personality type, the red energy, ISTJ, ESTJ, FJ, and ESFJ. You people up, your motivation drive is more fired up by results. So if you're struggling with motivation, that's team lead showing you the rewards for getting that job done, that project, or you're a parent, you discover that easily respond to when you attach a reward. A reward can mean punishment. Those of you that are parents realize all children that punishments work. Some of them, they not send you your punishment by rewards. However, some people in the red energy group, they are more fired up by results. What are we trying to achieve? Result into. The result is their own driver, motivation anchor. You must be able to speak that in clarity, paint the picture. Second dimension to painting the picture or describe you, knowing their sensory what we're dealing with here. So by more visually driven. So you in every result, you must make it visual enough. You must describe it in words enough. What we call auditory kinesthetic, them feel the result. Take them an organization or a team that has that, them feel what it feels to have that result. For those that can say, but that's not a focus. Let's just focus. So result drive people in the red energy group. The energy group, one of the ways you can master how to find that anchor of your motivation, elicit the results. If you are not sure of the result in that leader, research more on the result. Is the result from this task or project or this you want to take. You are struggling with motivation on a course. You want taking that course, what really have to gain clarity on it. If you gain clarity on it, for the people in the green energy category, that is the INFP, the ENFJ, and the ENFJ, you are more by relationship because your motivation anchor is relationship. Who are you there? Who are you connecting with there? Are you valid? So if you have a team member on the green energy, no matter the gain clarity, if they're working in, they don't feel a sense of family connected to, they don't have a sense of bonding. If you have a child, is in this category of person, put out all the punishments, buy a car for him or her, or if you don't have a strong or relationship with such a child, they will yield to the exert on him or her. And on a personal level, you're struggling with motivation for this category. Mostly some toxic emotions are correct. The result of certain relationship that you have in that team or that you have, but you deal with your perception of the or you are connected to in that team, will keep struggling regardless of the need for you. The last category is the blue energy containers. That covers the high NCP, ENTP, INTJ, and EN. You guys are more driven. Now, note that all these 4 motivation values, but you are dominantly this. It's peculiar for your energy group. So for you are more driven by reason. No matter how category, if you are a team lead to somebody like this, how you show them the result, no matter then the result you are chasing after, how you put their friends in the same, if you don't show them why we not. It's all if the why is not clear, embrace the why. Motivation. And on that note, because time we will go through the rest. We'll see how to apply it in romantic relationship, in communication, in management style, and your stress level. Stress, or how you react under stress. Next session. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. So sorry we've chopped personal time by a couple of minutes. Thank you all for your attention. Lara?
Thank you so much, Dr. Osaz. That was quite deep, quite revealing. And I mean, as we were just talking through everything, I just said to myself, it sort of brings a deeper level of understanding of why I behave the way I behave, and not just about me, but of course, with regards to other people that I relate with in the different areas of my life, as a mother, as a leader, as a boss in the office, you know, even as a relative to my family member. This is actually very deep and very intense and transformative session. Thank you so much, Dr. Osaz. Because of time, we can't do a recap, but I'll leave the floor open for 2 or 3 questions. Anyone, if you've got a question, please, you can go off mute now and ask Dr. Osaz your questions. 2, 3 questions. Okay, we have 1 question. So we have the first question from Toyin reads, I have a question, please. In your opinion, is the 4 personality types, sanguine, melancholic, choleric, and phlegmatic, just another personality matrix, or is it still valid? It's the one we first got to know about. What's your view on that?
So in the next session, you're late. So that's more of temperament, a subset of your personality. So you're going to see how you list those temperamental styles. See them in the way you apply stress and handling your emotions. But willing.
Thank you for that response. Any other question? We can take 2 more very quickly. Our time is fine.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Temitope. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Osaz. Thank you for this session. Good evening, sir. For me, I did this test about 10 years ago. I fell under ENFP. I did it again today. I've always wanted to do it 10 years apart. And then I fell under I think I missed it now. The top one, on top of ENFP.
On top of ENFP?
Yeah, one is ENFP, one is ENFJ. Yes, it was on top of each other. So 10 years apart, I fell on different quadrants.
Yes. So it's very much possible. So the ultimate goal is this, like I said, flexibility. You can become who you need to become in different dynamics or situations. So for the phase in your life 10 years ago, possibly you assume that. And for the phase in your life now, you are assuming ENFJ, but you will discover that you have a dominant personality type. So it's possible that one of the 2 is your dominant personality type, because oftentimes it's difficult to change. You can only, it's best you work on your emotional intelligence to cover up on the weaknesses and maximize your strength. But when you work on your emotional intelligence, you are perpetually upping your emotional intelligence. In fact, when people want to describe you to the secondary school student that you mentor, they may describe you as ENTJ. To your colleagues at work, they may describe you as ESFG, FP. To your children, they may describe you. In fact, among your children, one may describe you as an INTP, and one may describe you as ENTJ. You are meant to actually not be boxed by your personality. Just like I always say, your gene is not your fate. You have a dominant personality type, quite right, but which is contributed to by a bit of nature, 30% by your genetic inheritance, and 70% your nurture and your programming. But that should not be defining you forever. That should only contribute to your life by upping your emotional intelligence game so that you can be who you need to be at every phase in your life. When you're selling to someone that is an ESTJ, you must be able to become an ESTJ in selling for that moment. So that you can connect with him, you can have a rapport with that person, because selling and buying is largely about emotional connection. All right.
Okay, thank you, Doc, for that response. So we have our last two questions. The first one is from Bumi. It reads, I fell in the yellow energy, but always overwhelmed with job and personal life. How do I cope?
Sorry, repeat that.
She's in the yellow energy
okay
box, but always overwhelmed with job and personal life. How do I cope?
Always overwhelmed by job and personal life. Anybody can get overwhelmed by personal life. And however, how you going to identify your trigger points, your stressors, and how you will respond should be unique to you. So you now need to. So let me just be blunt a little bit. Oftentimes, when we are stressed and overwhelmed, we are looking at external factors, the situation majorly. We are looking at what the government is not doing right. We're looking at what our employer is not doing right, what is not in place at the workplace. The truth is that those things may be relevant to the stress they are dealing with, but the greater truth is the fact that they are not within your control. You can write letter to your government or to your employer. You can ask for a meeting, but whether they will respond and change that thing or reduce your workload or adjust or increase your salary, it's not really within your control. It's still subject to their control. They can do and not. And when you focus on what is not within your control, you are setting yourself up for frustration. Focus on what is within your control. Now, what control is all about how you are responding to the situation through your thinking, your thought, your behavior. And that's what personality awareness is all about. The way you are wired to think, behave in response to certain situations, gain an awareness of it. And now is this contributing to your, is this affecting you? Is this serving as your slowing you down? How is this causing more issue for you or overwhelming you? For example, for people in the yellow energy group, especially I don't know, she's the person that asked the question, the ISFP. There's one notorious strength with them, but at the same time, it makes a particular weakness. Taking such a person we'll be looking at her is the lawyer, is the Lagos traffic, my spouse, and focus on themselves. And what is that strength? What is that strength? The strength is actually being. They easily cause feelings. Then to connect and read your perspective, don't come as mind reading. It's a strength. It can pose as a weakness. It can be prone to a particular weakness, and that easily stressed because competitive. So instead of competing with them better than yesterday or their best version, because they are sensitive to other people's, they are sensitive to the feelings of their colleagues, perspective of others, of the people's impression of them, image of themselves. So they are all working themselves to have a good rep in the minds of people. Why that is good, control, and it's not extreme, but and run you stress and burnout. That's why they don't know how to put a caution on it. To others is for you to be able to understand what it's all about. That's why empathy is defined that emotional awareness in trying to seek to understand their feelings and activities so that it will guide your communications and your actions towards seeking to understand their perspective so that this will guide decision, your communication and action. It's not sensitive to their feelings of you in order to measure your. So if you don't know how to define this, you will stressed out because you are not running your own race. You are running other. All right. Response. Whenever you are stressed about the situation, it's less about the situation. Because at best, that is challenging you is at the Lagos Road best a stressor. That workplace, that nagging boss, yes, but it's at best a stressor. Nothing is permitted. Stress chemicals. There's 30 stress hormones we call stress hormones and the 1,400 stress neurotransmitters. Nothing is permitted to increase or trigger their release except your response through your thoughts. The way you are interpreting, the way you are expecting from that situation. Emotional intelligence, we call it the TIA model. So focus on your response. That's what determines your stress level. And luckily for you, that's where our power lies because it's within our control.
Awesome. The last question we have is from Joseph. Doc, how is this different from the DISC personality training?
Okay, so personality training is a set of people also of intersection between this MBTI and DISC. Also, there's a slide for it for you to see the intersection. But I always love to put it. This is where I always love to put it. You have a hardware, right? So use your phone. Most of you are using your phone, and if you are using your laptop, you have the hardware that you can touch, and you have the software. All right. Now, your expressions is like the hardware. That's like what people see on the screen or the computer is the hardware. However, giving birth to what they are seeing. Now, your software beliefs and values that drive your thoughts that people cannot see is in your head and drives your emotions. However, your emotions can drive your we see. Now, personality type based on MBTI covers the characteristic pattern in program to think, behave that makes you unique. However, focuses more on soft than behavior. So your beliefs and values that drive. That's why some people have even this into what we call leadership. So we're going to see the point of intersection. We're going to see how you can relate the two together to get the best in the next session, hopefully.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you. On this note, I'll hand over to Jamestar Toba. Toba, over to you to wrap up the session. Thank you so much, Doc, once again.
Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. And thank you, docs. We are grateful for these great sections. We are so grateful. God bless you. This is a great eye-opener for me. Then also how to manage people, then also to manage myself. So the question I want to ask to wrap up this section is this thing hereditary? Can it be transferred from parents to the young one, or can we learn it? Is it learning? Can somebody learn it from the environment? So I don't know, please, Doctor.
All right. So I mentioned this at the beginning that your personality pattern of thoughts behavior that makes you unique is two things: your nature and your nurture. Your nature, inheritance, and your nurture from the 4 E's of life: environment, education, your experience, and your exposure. Nature and nurture. Max nature only built to about 30%. while not programming contributes to a minimum of 70. So I always say this, just like we have genetic inheritance for certain diseases, people inherited some bad genes for breast cancer, hypertension. But the person will automatically come down with the disease of breast cancer, or the fact that you inherited that gene, you are condemned to that. Something has to switch on that gene. That's why in medical science we call it epigenetics. Something in your environment and your lifestyle is on or activates that gene. Put it in this analogy. Get back from a travel and you arrive early in the morning and you go at 5 a.m. and you get to your house. With dark, if there's nobody in there, right? Because nobody has switched on the lights. Now, it doesn't mean there's no electric in your electric circuit of your house. There's electric voltage, but there's no light. Why? It's not gone to the switch box to switch. The same way, you can have a bad gene, of a gene for being aggressive, gene for being antisocial, or of a gene for a breast. You can have it in you, but through your lifestyle, if it's a disease, your physical activity level, your emotional level, and the likes. The same way with a person, in your education, in your environment you grew up in your experience, we have to switch it on. So it's not your fate. It can be from what you inherited from your parents, personality type, but more of it is from your nurturing. But ultimate goal, personality, whether it's your gene that you inherited or not, the ultimate goal is to be able to be who you need to be past dynamic of using emotional intelligence. You are not a personality type. You can be any personality type. Situation demands it, but it doesn't take away the fact that your dominant one is this. When the need arises, and that's the nucleus of influence and leadership.
Okay, thank you, Doc. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Then quickly, please, everyone, we need you to please fill the form. You check the chat box.
Sorry, permit me to step out now. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much. We're going to give the vote of thanks shortly. Thank you. We appreciate you. Thanks for your time. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you.
Yes. So,
thank you. Thanks a lot.
I meant to join another one.
Yes, it's fine. Thank you. And thank you so much to everyone that has stayed up until this time. Thank you, Toba, for your support. Thank you, Coach Ayo. Thank you, Mary, as well, who were at the back planning this event. Thank you so much, everyone. I believe that we found it highly valuable. I'm looking forward to having everyone join us at the next session. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening. Thank you. Thank you.